God dag, and welcome to this Eurovision reaction and review. You know you're at the tail end of a Eurovision season when Melodifestivalen has held its final. What are we going to do today? Today I'm going to watch the winner's clip, Robert Bengtsson, or Bengtsson. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name. I think I got it almost right. Sweden, show me what you got. Okay, so is this pre-filmed video? Or is this Can't Stop the Feeling, the Eurovision entry? I wonder if they're going to be able to do this kind of thing at Eurovision, you know? Oh my god, it's a straight sex song! Okay, so... Wow. I think this is the second... Yeah, this is the second sex song in this half of the semi. And the other one is, like, the gay ho anthem. This one's like the straight ho anthem. I'm using that as general labels, by the way. But hang on. Okay, Beret and I believe his name was Kurt Kalea want words with you, honey. I can't go on when you look this freaking beautiful. Wow, I picked this up on first listen. Okay. I'm not calling Sweden a potential winner, but I do think this is going to go respectively well. This is going to do kind of well in the charts, at the very least. I guess this is another kind of Sweden song where the staging takes the precedence as opposed to what is actually being listened to. To be very honest, this is your stock standard kind of I want to call it Can't Stop the Feeling kind of number. You know, you could hear this in, like, yeah, basically. This could have been last year's interval act at Eurovision, you know. They're trying to launch Mademoiselle Malo's career again across Europe. I feel like that is the kind of performance this is. I don't exactly have a scope for how this kind of number goes in a competitive environment in Eurovision. In Sweden, it's slightly different. And also, this didn't win the televote. This won the jury vote, though. So I feel like what's going to happen is this song is actually going to get a lot of points in Eurovision. But I don't quite know how it's going to work when it's put up against the caliber of entries that we have this year in Eurovision. I feel like if this was entered 3 years ago, yeah, this would be like another top 5 of Eurovision. But this year, these songs are genuinely all pop, all from this year. But it's Sweden, and Sweden have a raging boner for, like, doing well, so I would expect to see this in the top 10. Anyway, let's have another 2 listens to this, try to tear it apart and figure out what the hell I actually want to say rather than what my first reactions are. I can't go on. It gets immediately stuck in your head, but it's plastic. Like, this is actually exactly the kind of song I'd expect from Sweden. What I mean by that is this is the kind of song that, you know, this is, as I've already said, this is basically Can't Stop the Feeling, but, you know, as a Swedish song as opposed to by an American. I don't want to get torn down for my disadvantages because I know that there is quite a large subsection of the fandom that stands Sweden, no matter what it sends. So please be aware that I tend to have advantages and disadvantages. Both of these are meant in order to highlight what the artist does and doesn't do in terms of their performance, the song, etc. So, advantages. Those treadmills, that treadmill action is beautiful. That is vote-grabbing shit, because no one really does that. And this is what Sweden is good at. Sweden is good at doing something that no one else really does in the year that they do it. And when they do things that, like, other people would do in that year, they usually don't do as well. This is perfect chart fodder. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean any backhanded shit. I'm just saying it straight up. This is the kind of song that you hear in your country's top 50 for at least half of a year. What do I mean? It's not closer. It's not that kind of song. It's more the Can't Stop the Feeling, you know, how that's still in the charts in quite a lot of countries. Yeah, this is that kind of song. Now, I feel like I really, really want to talk about that because the thing is, when Sweden does chart, they usually chart for a while, and the thing is, right, because it's Sweden, they have mastered this, I don't want to call it downright clinical, but this slick kind of pop music. There are very attractive people on stage, including Robin himself. Robin, is a 10 out of 10 in attractiveness, let's be honest. But this is a very typical, very safe song. I'm going to come back to that. And Robin has incredible vocals for someone who's doing that much walking around, that much dancing. Some people fall once they get to having to do that much choreography, but Robin doesn't. So, what do I not like about this song so much? Or what do I think is going to work against this song? I don't know how well that backstage part is going to work at Eurovision. We haven't had something like this before, but I would be really, really keen to see something like this exist in Eurovision, just because that would be different. Not because I want people to be like, oh, wow, what is going on? But because I think I want some tricks that have never been seen before. They don't necessarily have to come from Sweden. I mean, when Russia did the wall thing last year, and even if you're a casual viewer, the wall thing from Russia, once someone mentions that, you're like, oh, yes, that one. But I don't know whether or not they're actually going to get this into Eurovision itself, or if they're just going to have to start at a very extreme corner of the stage and just pretend that they're backstage using the back screens. That's possibly an idea, but see how you go with the EBU and UA PVC first. This may not stand out against other artists in the final. This is going to stand out in its half of the semi, however. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that this is one of the few upbeat songs in its half of the semi-final. But now that we're starting to get more songs, there have been more upbeat songs. We're not in a ballad-heavy year anymore. We're in a ballad-pop mix year at the moment. And I feel like this could not be the most strong pop song in the final in terms of getting people to vote for it. But I would not be surprised if we did get a lot of votes from Nordics. Okay, this song is nice and inoffensive in terms of sound. The lyrics are a little bit straddling on the sex side. That's not a criticism, however. I just feel like if there are more conservative countries that don't like people talking about sex, may not vote for this one. But it all depends on the performance. Or at least that's how it works in Eurovision. And my main point, this is a Sweden thing. This is not a, oh my god, I don't trust them thing, but this is a Melodifestivalen thing. I don't know if they have found backing singers who are also backing dancers who are able to stay in harmony while doing as much choreography as they were doing on stage. Maybe they have, and maybe they were the 4 guys that we saw on stage with Robin. It's just because of the way the Melodifestivalen works, he opted to use the backing track. That is just one of those criticisms where I'm kind of like, nah, I don't really know whether or not that is an actual criticism or if that's just me speculating on negative things. But it is one of those points of doubt that is strongest in my mind. What is your opinion on the Swedish song? If you have one, please feel free to tweet it to @WeAreEurovision or leave it in the comments below. So, what scores did I give Sweden? Well, Sweden, in my opinion, was worth a 8 out of 10 on the first listen, a 7 out of 10 on the second listen, and a 7 out of 10 on the third listen. That leaves Sweden with an overall 7 out of 10. Good luck, Sweden, and do pobacenia.